3, 2. I should have started from 5, huh? No, just kidding. Start the music. Boom! What is up? Welcome to another podcast episode of The Mind Buzz with me, Gil, and the producer and co-host.
Forgot my name or what?
No, I was setting that up for you.
I thought you were going to introduce me.
Behind the computer and the screen, Amber.
The voice.
The voice of the void. Yeah. From above or below.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Whatever you decide. But welcome to another edition of the podcast. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe and like and follow us on Instagram, because if you're not following us on Instagram, you're going to miss out on some cool things that we just posted today. So My Grito presents Soul Night at Hello Stranger, celebrating My Grito's 3rd year anniversary.
Yeah.
And they're headlining that show is going to be Maria Sanchez. The Rippertons are going to play there, and then also Los Tranquillos are going to be playing. Tranquilos.
There you go.
Why is it with an L? Why do you put it with an L? I thought it was double L meant Y.
But there's no double L.
Oh, there's not?
It's Tranquillos.
That's why we have Amber here, because she puts me on game and on the second language.
You got that 2010 vision behind
there we
keyboard,
go.
Huh?
So they're going to have those bands. They're going to have a second room with Chicano Shuffle and us.
Yeah, we're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be interviewing some of the bands, some of the people that are there. So come on. If you ever wanted to be on the podcast, this is the time.
This is your chance. This is your 5 seconds of fame with Ramon from Chicano Shuffle.
And on top of that, right, we have a giveaway going on.
Yes, we just posted this today. So go to our Instagram account and find out how to win. We are giving away 2 tickets to Soul Night and My Grito t-shirt, a signed LP from Maria Sanchez along with the t-shirt, another t-shirt from the Mind Buzz, and a Chicano Shuffle beer cup, beer, and michelada not included. Sorry.
You have all week's wardrobe right there.
Yeah, there's 3. So go ahead.
If you're Gil, you have all week.
Yeah. Hey, I just did laundry today. She's omitting that fact.
2 sides, right?
Calzones not included.
Calzones not included. Jeez.
Oh, and we added someone, right? Michi, Pinchi
Oh, yeah,
Michi.
Pinchi Michi is
donating an art piece.
She donated a couple of art pieces. So go check that out to see how to win. You must be following Chicano Shuffle, My Grito, Groovy _MS, Maria Sanchez, The Mind Buzz, and Pinchi Michi Art. So There you go.
All right, cool.
What else? That's it, right?
That's it.
Cool. And without further ado, we're gonna get into our guest.
Yeah.
Renato, thanks for coming out to the podcast, brother. Thanks,
Happy
man.
to be here, Gil.
Thank you, dude.
It's been long overdue, I feel. I had this conversation with Ramos, I would say probably like a couple months ago, and he's like, hey, I want to hook you up with one of my homies. He's really cool. He's actually out there in Chino. You're in Ontario, right? I'm like, oh, damn, he's local?
There we go.
And then somehow I stumbled upon your page prior to him showing me who you are, and what's meant to be is meant to be, and we're here together, man, so I'm excited to have a conversation with you.
Shout out to Ramos for hooking that up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really good soul.
Thanks, Jose. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Jose. We really appreciate I haven't met him yet.
You haven't met him yet?
I haven't met him yet,
So
but
these are virtual friends.
we are pen pals pretty much, yeah. Is that what they're considered, pen pals?
Yeah, I guess you can say.
In a sense. Yeah, we virtual.
Our generation.
If you're friends over Instagram, that's the 1950s version of a pen pal.
Hey, I had a pen pal when I was in like 5th grade.
Did you really?
Yeah, the school did like something where you were like pen pals with someone, like another kid in Europe. Yeah.
In Europe?
But my mom only let me do it once, and she thought it was weird.
Like y'all would send each other letters?
Yeah, like the school, like the school would facilitate it. So you would give your letter to the school, and then the school would mail like all these letters to other kids that were in a school that was within the program.
Whoa.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I wonder if they still do that. No?
Probably not. I mean, now you can chat with someone on Instagram from around the world.
Which is wild. That
is crazy.
So how long ago was this, Amber? For you?
5 years ago. No, I'm just
Was
kidding.
it?
No. I mean, over 15 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I was probably like, I was like 8, like 7 or 8. So yeah.
Oh.
That's not bad.
No, but that was cool. But yeah, pen pals. I had a pen pal.
50 years later. Now we can
Fuck you.
now we can just talk to anybody in
Anybody
the
we
world.
want, video
Yeah.
chat anybody we want, all that. All the
Exactly.
above, man.
Exactly, dude. So I'm excited to hear about your story. I know first generation, your family. What country did they come from?
My parents came from Mexico.
Mhm.
So they came from
Oh, what part?
they came from Jalosotitlan. So it was in
okay.
Guadalajara.
Oh,
Jalisco.
okay.
Hello.
Yeah. So my pops, when he was 17, was like, "Fuck it. There's no future here. I'm just
17 years old.
Yeah.
He made that decision.
Yep.
Whoa.
He's like, I'm just gonna go take my coyote and see what I could do from there." And I remember I asked my pops, I was like, "Pops, what was the first like thought that made you want to go over there?" He said that they would call it El Norte over there in Mexico, right? So he'd say every time someone would come back from El Norte, they would come back heavy. Like they would have like a big belly. Because like they would be starving over there. My dad had like 8 brothers and sisters. Same with my mom. They would live in a farmland, so pretty much to each their own, right? Having to survive. My mom would have to hunt squirrels to be able to get a meal. So it was a struggle, man. So my pops just made that decision, came over here, and the rest was history, man.
Did you ever go back?
Yeah,
back
he got
home?
back.
Yeah.
He's gone back.
Oh,
plenty
okay.
of times, yeah. So he was able to fix his paperwork because of who was it? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was able
okay. So it was
to
around
hook
that
him
time.
up during
Really?
during that era. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a little easier when the 70s came.
Can you look that up? I want to see that. Like what bill was that for
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan?
That's why a lot of
La Raza. fucks with
yeah,
him
they
heavy 'cause
they
of that.
liked Ronald Reagan because he was the one that gave all these people
Was it amnesty? It's called
amnesty. Yeah.
amnesty, I believe.
Can you look that up? I want to see it.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, that makes
That's how
makes a
my
lot of
grandma,
sense.
Too. My grandma, my grandpa was the Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan era.
Um,
Just put like amnesty or yeah.
I'll put gives papers.
There you go. I'm glad you didn't put green in front of papers though.
Fairness doctrine.
See right
Is
here.
that it?
What year did? So he gave amnesty. Yeah. So they. call it
Oh, in
amnesty.
86.
Oh, 86. Okay. Yeah, so my oldest brother was born in 77, so 9 years into it, he was able to get it, yeah.
Wow.
So here it is.
Oh, it was a immigration reform.
And Control Act.
Whoa. It was passed by
Hey,
the
that was my birthday.
99th
November
University Congress and signed into law by U.S. President Ronald Reagan on November 6, 1986. The Immigration Reform and Control Act altered U.S. immigration law by making it illegal to hire illegal immigrants knowingly and establishing financial and other penalties for companies that employed illegal immigrants. Oh. So before this, undocumented people were able to work. So after this act, they probably figured like, man, we have
tax half of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of immigrants
Yeah.
working for the United States. Why not make them?
So in actuality, did it benefit us?
See, that's
It's
Now comes into question.
that,
We-
that's
there's
where I've
two
heard,
sides of
yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah.
that's where the thing comes, because a lot of people that were getting their amnesty and their citizenship, they were happy at any cost, right? It didn't matter what what came from it or what it was, because you wanted to be safe here. So yeah, so that's what I read an article one time where it was saying like it was so 50-50 because it was like it was something really good, but then it led to like what it is now, you know, and what they went through. So it's one of those things that are like,
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
right.
I mean, you can think about that about, you know, other
anything,
things that they passed.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. Always two sides to the coin. As
I mean,
they say, right?
there's this particular, like during the Ronald Reagan years, and then there's also Nancy Reagan that led the those drug war acts and stuff. She was heavily into that DARE program
Oh, she was
throughout
on
this
it.
time. Yeah, Nancy Reagan. Hell yeah.
I remember going through those classes in elementary school. Yeah, I remember
Really?
that. I still got a DARE shirt. I wear my DARE shirt to the gym, man.
There you go.
Drug abuse resistance education.
Yeah.
I remember the acronym.
You know, it's funny. The other day, I took my niece to Forever 21 to buy. She wanted to buy clothes for back to school, and that's where she wanted to go. And they had a DARE shirt. Like, it was like cool. Like, well, kind of like Gil, like yesterday, that whole freaking Y2K thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the heck? I'm like, they gave those out at school. Like, what are they doing on a hanger at the mall?
Right.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's
but-
hilarious. We made it here.
Yeah.
I graduated. What is this?
That's right, dude. So now they're considering Y2K clothing vintage. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy, bro.
I feel like I should belong in a museum.
It should, huh? It's been that long, bro. It's been 24 years and 3 months from now.
Dang.
Yeah, man. I remember that scare.
Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. We're
2000.
24 years from the year 2000, Y2K.
Y2K, bro.
Yeah. Do you remember that? The 1999
I remember
New
that.
Year's Eve.
Yeah, I was 10 years old.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you're
89.
You're 89. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an
90,
89
so
baby.
we're all around the same age.
Yeah.
We're there. Yeah, I remember they were going to say the world's going to end, blah, blah, blah.
Take out all your money from the
Take all your
bank.
money. And then also, like, I was a big wrestling fan at the time. Did you watch WWF?
Oh, of course.
And then Y2J came out. And
Yeah.
I was like, that was the real one right there.
I just got into like a rabbit hole of SmackDown. How it started in 1999 on, I think it was August 24th
Okay.
or 26th in 1999 was the first SmackDown
Thursday
episode.
Night SmackDown.
So I think I got into it because of SmackDown because it wasn't on cable TV. We don't have cable.
Well, that's right, because USA. That's what WWF Raw was on.
Yeah, exactly. It was on USA and then SmackDown. I think it started on UPN
Channel
first.
13.
Channel 13,
If
right?
you grew up in Chino, it's Channel 13. Yeah.
Yeah, Channel 13, bro. And like that's when I started watching it.
Oh, that's bad. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
because it was on cable,
Yeah.
the regular one.
So right now, if you tune, no affiliate link for Pluto TV, but if you go to Pluto TV, you can watch all the SmackDown episodes and
go.
all the Raw episodes.
There you go. And also, Plug Paramount, I think, does WWF or Raw. From what
Really?
my boy told me.
Really?
They play all the WrestleManias, dude.
I need to get in that rabbit hole. I gotta show my boy the Shawn Michaels vintage, man. The
Exactly.
Heartbreak Kid, baby.
That's right, dude. Who was your favorite wrestler back in those days?
Back in those days, number
Yeah.
one for me would be Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
and then Macho Man.
Really?
I just love the persona.
yeah.
Like
Randy
it's just very
Savage.
infectious. Like I gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
Heavy, man. How about you, man?
Mine was Mankind and The Undertaker, for sure.
Mick Foley was that
Yeah.
fight Mick Foley and Mankind had. I mean, Mankind and Undertaker had.
Oh yeah, they just said. Can you look it up, Amber?
Was that the one where he threw himself?
Yeah,
The Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
yeah. The Undertaker throws Mankind off the Hell in the Cell. Can you pull that up? I'm gonna see that one more time
The only
Bro.
reason
for
I
the
know
millionth time.
now I sound like I watched it too. My dad used to watch it, but I know
Heck yeah.
now because of Gil, because he was daily.
He didn't even get a stain in that white T-shirt Mankind was wearing.
They just celebrated like the 25-year anniversary of that
Of that.
match. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a long time. Hell in the Cell with the Undertaker.
Why is it in caps?
And take it off. I
No, I-
usually yell at people in my emails,
I know.
so I have all caps on.
There it is, that middle one.
Yeah, King of the Ring, 1998. This is way before
SmackDown.
These two men are preparing to endure is inhuman. How they will
He
I don't
threw
put
his
it on
ass
right.
like a.
I think just leave it on. We'll do some commentary because I think within like the 5 minutes he throws him
Yeah.
off the Hell in the Cell.
Oh yeah, and then throws him right on that table.
Yeah.
No, he may not make it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this probably won't be on YouTube, so if you want to go listen to this, go to Spotify because it's gonna cut us out any minute though. You can't fake that. You can't fake
Can't fake that.
a Hell in the Cell, a King of the Ring.
Like I like to compare. Like nowadays, people get really mad when I say this, but to me, like WWF, like NFL is my WWF now. Like I feel like NFL, in a sense, is like wrestling. Like it's not fake in a sense. Yeah, you still get injured, but there's some script behind it.
Oh yeah, of
Like
course.
there's some like opera behind. Like I got to follow this scene, and that's how I kind of feel football is in a sense as well. So
Okay.
yeah, which
That
is
makes
cool.
sense.
So I never really looked into like placement and storyline. I never really thought of it. Oh, he almost fell through. I never really thought about it until just a couple of weeks ago, dude. As I was reliving these moments in my childhood,
Yeah.
it was really produced really well, especially with storylines and stuff back in this day.
Oh, bro, I remember growing. This was pretty much my first
I think
porn, bro. Like it was
this is it. This is it right there.
There it is. And he lands so bad on that table.
Can you look? How many minutes was he in? And he
the
threw him
ground?
off threw him Hell in the
Bro,
Cell.
that was 2 minutes in.
2 minutes in, he throws him off.
And the match was over literally 2 minutes.
Wasn't he saying? Weren't you watching like an interview where he was saying that he didn't want to throw him off, and then he was like, "Throw me off."
Yeah, the Undertaker didn't want to throw Mick Foley off of the Hell in the Cell.
That's what made him one of the best, right? Because I
Yeah.
remember that fight too, I believe, with Triple H with the thumbtacks. When he
Thumbtacks.
does the pedigree on him. I think he didn't want to do it, but I think he did it like 3 times because Mankind was like,
Barbed wire, dude. This
Barbed
guy
wire,
put
yeah.
his body on the line in the name of entertainment. He came from Japan. Japan is a very heavily hardcore-esque type of wrestling. What do they call it? Like a wrestling league.
okay.
And that's where most of ECW got some of their because the ECW was
Extreme,
essentially our
yeah.
extreme
Like the trash can.
hardcore weapons, bloody.
Ladders.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Shout out to Japan for that. I never knew that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they have a wild, crazy wrestling history. A lot of the wrestlers that we seen in those days in the 90s all wrestled in Japan before they went on WCW, before they went on WWE. Chris Benoit
Chris Benoit came from that. Okay.
was in Japan. I think he was under a different name. Eddie Guerrero also came from Japan.
So all the OGs from there. Don't tell
Yeah.
me Ric Flair came from there too, bro.
I think Ric Flair was wrestling.
Over
in
there
that. Yeah,
too?
I think a lot of people did that circuit
Okay. I got to check that out. What was it called again?
of wrestling. It's Japan World Wrestling or something like
Japan
that.
World Wrestling.
Yeah.
All right. Did they wear mascaras too and all that?
You know, surprisingly, Eddie Guerrero did. Eddie
Guerrero
Guerrero,
wore
yeah,
mascaras?
he was called like the Dragon something. Can you look that up? Eddie Guerrero as
R.I.P.
Dragon.
Eddie Guerrero. It's the original Latino heat right there.
Yeah, dude, I need to get one of his shirts. With
I
some
always
Tino
love that shirt, right? The all black with the
Yeah.
rose on it.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
What do you want me to look?
Just put old wrestling name. He was like the something dragon. And he used that in WCW for a bit, and there we go, Mascara
Mágica.
Mágica, and the Black Tiger. There we go. Is there any pictures of him in the?
There. Oh, that's it.
It's him with Rey Mysterio.
The magic mask, huh?
Yeah.
What do you say? Lie, cheat, steal. His
Yeah.
famous quote. You can't handle my Latino heat.
But I'm from that, dude. Watching, was it behind the ropes or something?
Behind
Oh
the
yeah.
ropes.
The one on was it a Vice? Vice had it, right?
Yeah, I think
Beyond
first.
the Ring.
And
I
it's
think.
on
Or-
Hulu now.
Can you look? Can you look it up? I want to get the name right.
I'm like,
All you wrestling people.
one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I
There we
found
go,
him
that's
right
him.
Here.
That's a sick ass.
Oh,
Mask.
there you go. Oh yeah, I know that chest.
Yeah,
That's Eddie for sure.
look at him.
That's funny.
It looks like almost like Power Ranger,
It does, like the
does.
Pink Ranger.
It does.
right? Eddie Guerrero was the first Power Ranger.
There you go. There you go.
Blue Beetle. Are you kidding me? This was a
Fuck the
first.
Blue Beetle.
This was the first superhero right here.
Real talk.
What are you talking about? We had the
I co-signed that, Gil.
Black
For sure,
Tiger.
bro.
What was it called? The Black Tiger?
Yeah, the Black Tiger.
Yeah. Way before the Blue Beetle. Are you
Way
kidding me?
before, dog.
Behind the Ring. Is it called Behind the
No,
Ring?
well,
Oh,
Beyond.
Dark.
Dark
Beyond
Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. That's what it was.
Dude, rabbit hole. If you want to get into the WWE rabbit hole, this is the series to take you down.
I gotta
dude.
watch that Chris Benoit one because that story is
Yeah.
that's sadistic, dude.
That's how I started like learning about the history behind the wrestling and WWE and the Japan route. And after Eddie died, dude, Chris Benoit went, it changed him.
Yeah.
It changed him because that was his best friend for like 18 years.
Yep.
And going through just wrestling as, wrestling was their life for both of them, and being best friends for 18 years, going through all those different, events and steps, and all the way to being
A superstar.
a superstar
Yeah.
around the
they-
world.
They went from WCW together. They got to WWF together. Yeah, man. Yeah, so when he passed away, fuck, you're right.
Yeah. I think it was WrestleMania 20. They both won both championship belts respectively. I think it was Eddie Guerrero for the SmackDown brand and Chris Benoit for the Raw brand. So
Cool.
yeah, they both had a big night.
Giving that pinnacle together.
WrestleMania 20, but after Eddie Guerrero dies, like it changed him.
Yeah, man.
Changed his brain chemistry for sure.
Well, especially being a wrestler, right? And we weren't that educated when it came to concussions. We see that. Like, I see it with, like, football players when they're, like, 10 years removed from retirement, like Junior Seau. Like, he was like a big linebacker for the San Diego Chargers. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
I'm not.
He was, like, very lovable with everyone. He was, like, the most kind person. And a couple years after he retired, he drove his car off a cliff and died.
Whoa.
And the only reason he did that is because he wanted to donate his brain. He didn't want to like shoot himself to fuck the brain up. So he could donate his brain so people could look at it and study it.
Whoa.
Well,
yeah, so there's a lot of ex-football players, retired football players that are going through that.
It's this concussion thing. I think it got a lot of traction after the Chris Benoit thing because they found out that over time, all these minor bangs to the head created like ongoing issues for brain. So it was for their brain. So it was essentially minor brain damage over years. Can you look it up? It's
yeah. So what I've seen before with stuff like that, it's like it creates trauma in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Right.
your brain is constantly on like high alert, or it's constantly in that like survival mode. So it like, I don't want to say it overheats your brain, but it puts you in this mode where you're always looking to survive because you've gotten so much trauma. So it's like that's why these people are always, like the anger and the the panic and everything that comes to it, because their body is constantly on survival mode.
On survival mode,
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, it's a sad thing, man.
yeah.
So
So
we gotta stay healthy.
it was that trauma over the years, plus the newfound trauma with losing your best friend after 18 years of working together. It just we got to look up there's a specific name for that type of brain trauma
Okay. That causes.
that it comes from concussions. causes, something like that. But
Turns into a killer, man. See, concussion symptoms causes.
there we go. That's what it's called. Excuse me. CTE.
Oh, CTE, yeah.
What is it? Do we know what it stands for? What the acronym is?
Doesn't, but it says causes memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, impulse control problems, aggression, depression, anxiety, suicidality, Parkinson's, and eventually progresses into dementia.
That shit's huge in the NFL right now. Yeah, they had to like change the helmets, and even the helmets got even worse, I felt, when it comes to the CTE, dude.
CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy? Encephalopathy? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
CTE.
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 That's why it's an acronym.
I know, right?
And BRB. For real.
It's a progressive and fatal brain disease associated with repeated traumatic brain injuries, including concussions and repeated blows to the head. It is also associated, can't read today, associated with the development of dementia. Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, after that, they wanted to start getting into that for different, different wrestlers, especially for the WWE. That whole ordeal, what happened to him, it changed wrestling.
Yeah, it changed the whole trajectory, man.
Yeah.
Because that's your, what do you call it? That's your example right there. So if you don't do anything about that, and then the trickle down effects continuously happens, what are they going to say about Vince McMahon? What are they going to say about wrestling?
Yeah.
They're going to start wanting to ban it. So that's when you got to start putting up those precautions, right?
Yeah. I think they first started with no chair shots to the head. And then they started moving, like taking out different weapons, certain moves.
They took away Triple H's sledgehammer.
The sledgehammer. Well, no, I think the sledgehammer is still there. They use a real one, by the way, but he just covers his hand with it before he hits somebody over the head with it.
That's so wild, bro. I couldn't do it. They're better people than me, for sure. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, you work out too, right?
Yeah, I work out, man. One of my stress relievers.
Yeah.
I would say for sure, man.
Imagine those wrestlers traveling and all the planning that they had to do with that, right? And then plus shaping that body,
going town to town, different beds. You're not in your own bed,
right?
So that's just stress, I bet.
How would you be able to handle that if you're a wrestler?
How would I be able to handle that if I was a wrestler? Fuck, I need to have a best friend like Eddie Guerrero for sure.
Right.
Just decompress a lot. I would have to make sure that I meditate.
Yeah.
Meditation for me, I've found that it's very helpful because I'm very anxious as a person. I'm very energetic. So with that, it helps me kind of slow down a little bit. So just doing a lot of breathing techniques probably helps me, compartmentalize a little better. Because other than that, man, I'll be off the hinges, bro.
When did you start meditating, like as a form of mental health?
I started meditating when I got into yoga, man. So I started doing vinyasa yoga when I was about 21. So about 13 years ago, man. And I actually had a really great experience with it where I actually felt a part of my body wake up. So I got into this yoga, and at the end of yoga, they do something called vinyasa. So pretty much something called vinyasa is the teacher has you lay down, and she pretty much just guides you through a meditation. She like sets the stage as well. Like she has like the aromatherapy going, the sage burning. And as you lay down, bro, she's just like saying, picture yourself laying down and you have a raindrop just falling on you, right? And for some apparent reason, bro, I was so deep into my meditation, I literally felt a raindrop hitting my forehead, like repeatedly for like 5 straight minutes, like. And I remember asking the teacher, I was like, hey, like I felt something weird. I felt like something was hitting my forehead. And she's like, oh, that was your pineal gland. You're opening up that part of your chakra. I was like, what? So because of that, it like opened me up to like, hey, you know what? Let me study this more. So from there, man, I just started doing yoga more weekly, like on a weekly basis, and it helped me like control my mind, my body, where I feel like I could like kind of like not get sick anymore. I haven't been sick in a while, and it just made me feel like, you know what, we have superpowers within our body that we're able to control. So just by that, man, and it really gave me a different lens of life, man. So if you ask me like what undeniable is, right? What undeniable means to me, it has the word in it, right? Undeniable, you know, discovering your truth. And then knowing that it's all about like you're born alone, you die alone, right? So pretty much undeniable is the serum to your superpower. And that's what I want to bring to the people, man. Because whenever you have a vision or whenever you have a passion, Gil, like what you guys are doing here at the Mind Buzz, it's fucking amazing, bro. You have like, this is the IE version of the Joe Rogan podcast for right now, right? But then it's going to get bigger, right? But when you have these thoughts, sometimes you might tell a homie or you might tell a family member and they might be like, nah, you tripping. Nah, that's just a thought. You can't really do it, right? But then you have that little voice in your head that's saying, hey, man, you could do that shit. So with Undeniable, man, is I want to be that person. I want you to feel like you could accomplish anything, you know? So the two main things that I push with Undeniable is being your biggest fan and leading with love. Because we have a lot of crab mentality, especially in our family or in our community, that might bring you down a notch when they shouldn't bring you down a notch. So that's ultimately what I want to do, you know, with my brand and with my walk of life, man.
And how would you start to do that? Say, keeping a trajectory and being your biggest fan, like where's the first thing that a person can start listening to this right now?
The first thing is listening to your own self, man. Ask yourself questions, because a lot of us always just picture things worse than they really are. Because if you ask yourself the question, why are you scared to do this? I guarantee you, if you answer that question, you're going to feel like a bitch. Like, damn. And it's only because of that reason? Then let me just get up and fucking do it. That's the majority of it. It's just fucking action. But we put these fake shackles on ourselves where we limit ourselves, man. And I'm very passionate about this, Gil, Amber, because like I said, man, my pops was 17 when he made that decision. So who am I to like not grab the baton where my father took it and run further? Because it's a disservice if he sacrificed all this shit. He sacrificed his childhood, his 20s. My dad didn't go to Vegas to go club it like his kids were able to do, shit like that. My dad was fucking bussing tables. My dad he was a busboy, which worked out because he would have to eat the food remaining from the plates that he would bust because he had no money. So it helped him. So because of all that hard work my father did, I feel like I have that engraved in my DNA. So I'm going to make sure that, you know, I'm a constant reminder to people that you could do anything you put your mind to, bro. And I would say that's where it starts, man. It starts within, asking yourself those hard questions.
Yeah. And that's hard.
Yeah, dude.
To get started, to first break down your own self.
Yeah.
Of course, you can start breaking down other people's behaviors, but that's easy. That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is to break down your own behaviors.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge.
It's very challenging
to get started.
Yeah, because I feel like we often, our own problems, like we all kind of, they stem from something, right? Whether it's your childhood, whether something that happened, a trauma, anything that sometimes are out of our control, that was out of our control. So I feel like, and I guess I'm going to speak on personal sense, but I feel like it's easier for me to say, I'm like this because of this. I'm like this because of that. I do what I do because of that. So I keep blaming things that happened or people or scenarios that keep happening because they're easier than saying, you know what, they happened. And I do. I think I've come a really long way to where I say, okay, it happened and I need to move on, right? Because I think if I didn't, then I wouldn't be where I am and who I am now. But there's still days that it's like it's easier to blame something else for our actions and for who we are than to say we have the power to change it. What are we going to do? Why aren't we going to do this? Or why haven't we done it? You know, and it's just easier to keep blaming things because it's
easier.
You want to sympathize. You want someone to sympathize with you, whether it's yourself or someone, your spouse, your partner, your family. You want that sympathy of, hey, something happened to me and this is why my actions are like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And what better way to do that, to first start to do that in meditation?
Yeah.
Because you have to, it's so hard to sit, especially in this world.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's hard to sit in silence, turn off, shut the fuck up, and go inside. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I haven't, I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't meditated in such a long time or practiced yoga in such a long time, which are some of my two most favorite pastimes.
Really? You like yoga?
Yoga's pretty cool.
Me too.
Yeah,
we gotta go take a Bikram class then.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
Amber likes yoga.
I like hot yoga.
She turned me on to
Bikram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That what is it called?
Bikram.
Yeah.
Bikram?
Bikram. Bikram.
Yeah, dude. Oh, you feel so good. I think during the pandemic, I picked up yoga. I was into it for like close to a year at least. You know,
Good, man.
I had a yoga mat. I read a yoga book, by I forgot the author's name. It'll come to me.
Okay. Yeah, I like it because what I like about it is the stretches. So when you stretch into like the pigeon pose or these like different type of things, you're like sending oxygen to parts of your body you don't really send to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's really cool about it, man. But like what you were saying earlier, Amber, about like trauma, right? Like we come from trauma, right? Where you from, Gil? If you don't mind me asking, your nationality, your culture.
I'm from here. I'm a Mexican American.
Nice, man. Your parents came from Mexico?
I'm a third generation.
Nice, brother. That's cool.
It's okay.
It's okay. You got two generations on me, man.
I'm first generation.
Amber's first
I'm like
generation.
you, yeah.
Shout out to the first generation.
There we go. I'm
No
third
hate on Gil.
No hate on
I'm
you,
a bronze.
Once my children have children, that would be third generation.
Yeah.
So
There
my
you go.
children will be Gil.
Gotcha.
My children.
Yeah. Your grandkids.
But yeah, you know, coming from like a Mexican household, right? It's very anxious. Well, my household was, you know, you got the father that is breaking his back, working 12-hour days to support 3 children. You know, the mom staying at home with 3 knucklehead kids, right? Like I have 2 kids of my own, and I could see like why my mom's patience ran thin, right? So because my mom's patience ran thin, you know, that causes the kids to be by themselves. They talk to themselves. Sometimes I find myself talking to myself. Like I'll be having a conversation like, yo, Renato, how you doing? I'll be like, why am I doing that? I'm like, oh, because maybe I was left alone a lot, right? So one thing that's very challenging is change, right? So one thing that helps me, Gil and Amber, is I always make it upon myself to try to grow periodically. Like every month, try to challenge myself. So coming from a Mexican household, the hardest thing that I've changed was removing certain food from my life. So the only meat I consume is fish. So like when I made that decision, my mom, my dad, my 2 brothers, the carne asada, all that, bro, I got looked at different. Yeah. And that was one of the hardest hurdles that I've gone through in my journey of like letting my parents know, hey, we need to eat a little healthier. Because my father has diabetes. He's a type 2 diabetic. And I remember like always seeing my dad as my superhero. Like, this is my fucking superhero. Like, he's my dad. He's the strongest person in the world. And as he got older, I don't want to use the word crumble because it sounds mean. But like I just saw him slowing down a little bit. And then being a parent myself, I'm like, you know what? I don't want my son to have that thought of me if I ever go there. So I'm just going to make that decision now and change. And then that just caused a trickle effect for me, man.
What did you feel when you first noticed that? Like, sometimes we don't talk about that because my father was a lot older than a lot of my kids. My father was older than a lot of my friends' fathers.
Okay.
I think before he passed away, he was in his late 50s. And it was what I'm getting at is the moment that I realized, damn, my dad's getting old.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how did that feel when you thought about that?
It just makes you teary-eyed, bro. It makes you emotional. Like you don't think it's possible because you're so young. Death is such a foreign thought. Like you don't even think it exists. So like once you see like that one person like kind of slowing down a little bit, that little fear starts creeping in. And because I think something changes when you're like 5 or 6, right? That's when you get more feelings and you get emotional. Because right now, my son's just all happy right now. He's 3 years old, about to be 4. But yeah, man, I remember, dude, like seeing my dad like that and just feeling sad, bro. Like this ain't the pops that I grew up with.
Yeah.
That would carry me and like make me fly like Superman.
I think that too, and I've said this before, and I think now that I'm getting older, it's coming into realization of now that I'm an adult, I don't feel like an adult all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I see my parents at the age that I was, they owned a home, they had 2 children. Like you said, my dad worked construction, so he worked a bunch of hours too, and I think of them and my age, and I'm just like, I saw them as like, oh, these put together adults, they know everything. Yeah. They're going to protect me. They have the answer to every single thing that I can think of, right? And now that I'm this age and I like have conversations with them, and it's just like they didn't have it together. They didn't know everything. They were living their life day by day the same that I am now, the same that, I mean, maybe a little different, right? Because I don't have children. I don't have a lot of the responsibilities that they did, but in the sense of like thought process, right? They just were living every day. And I think that that's why when we get older and they get older and we see them, like you said, not crumble, but we really
slow
see them,
down a little bit.
No, but and I think that we also really personify them as an actual person.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not to say that your parent is no longer your superhero, but now you're on their level. Now you understand paying bills. Now you understand the stress of going to work. Now you understand these things, so that you start empathizing with them, right? And it's like you see them as humans now and not superhumans. And I think that that's where that line comes from. It's because
that's a good point.
It's not that they're not superhuman. It's just now we understand what they were going through in that time. And I think that that's where I'm like I've cried. Like we've been in the car and we were talking about like my parents and things like that. And then I I literally get like so emotional to think like my mom, being a stay-at-home mom, gave all her dreams away to take care of us, to make sure that we, were always bathed and fed and went to school and came back and happy and everything. And she didn't get to live her life the way that I'm living mine. And it's like that just saddens me, because now she's an adult and I'm just like what do you do now?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the hard part right there, Amber, especially first generation, right? But like you're gonna make it, you and Gil are gonna make it better for like the next future. And that's what it's all about, because like it's all about breaking the generational curses and then creating the generational wealth. So as long as we continuously break those curses that were passed down to us, we're going to be able to create new ones for the new future. And from there, we're going to be able to build more, and more. And that's where I'm trying to get it. Because like when you go to the doctor, bro, it's always Mexicans always got high blood pressure. Why? Because it's not genetic. It's what we eat. We all eat the same.
Yeah, it's in our environment.
It's in our environment. Exactly. So that's why I tell my brothers all the time, like, in a sense, I could kind of change my DNA, kind of in a sense, right? Because I feel like I don't I don't have to get pre-hypertension. I don't have to get diabetes as long as I make the decision now.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to prepare myself so when my son's old enough, he's going to be able to have that equipment like Pops did it. Because, you know, I'm going to try to homeschool my children. I'm going to do everything different the way the world is right now, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Thank
good.
you. What about you, Gil and Amber? What do you guys got? What do you guys got going
What do I got
for the
going?
future? What y'all got planned? I know this podcast is gonna take off, but besides this podcast, man, I saw y'all got a meet and greet happening next week. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's big time.
Thanks,
That's
man.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
I think I kind of think like you, right? Like even though I was first generation here, my parents were brought here young. So my parents grew up here, right? So they speak English, they kind of assimilated, things like that. But they still carry a lot of traditions and a lot of habits that we kind of form, you know, and it's funny that you talk about like being like pescatarian, right? Because for a while that's where the route that I went for. I went 3 years being pescatarian, and it was one of those things I was like, okay, well, you know, we have menudo, but we'll just give you the broth, you know, and
you
it's
can
like
pick out out whatever
the carne, you know, or just the hominy and the broth, and we're like, no, and it's one of those things where as a culture we don't understand, right? But then there's also those things where like my mom makes a lot of dishes too that don't have meat, right?
Yeah.
And it was because it stemmed from them not having money.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, you know, we had potatoes, we had nopales, we had, you know, these things. And I'm like, okay, so that was easier, right? So how did you get, like when was that full circle of you getting to, like, your family and saying, hey, look, this is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to be, like not saying, like, whether you tailor it or not, right? Because like, for me, my parents did a lot of stuff where both my parents cook. So my dad started looking up recipes that he could incorporate, you know, some vegetarian options with, you know, some of the non-vegetarian stuff we made. So he tailored things like that. Like, they assimilated after a while, right? It took them a while to kind of learn to do that. So what about your family? Like, how did that go with you changing your habits of eating?
Yeah. When did it start, or how did it go with them?
Like, how did it go? Like, how, like, now, like, do they still try to offer you like
all the
birria
time.
or something?
All the time, every day, every time. I was just there before this. I had to pick up, because I'm in the process of selling my condominium right now. So I have like half of my stuff in my parents' house right now. They live in China, so I actually went to China right now to pick up some docs to wear for the show. And they were offering me food. I'm like, nah, mom, no como carne, ya te dije. ¿Por qué me estás ofreciendo? And then she's like, pues estás bien flaco. And that's probably the most annoying thing my mom tells me. Estás bien flaco. I'm like, what do you want? Like, ¿qué quieres que esté? Like, what do you need from me? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So they joke around with me about it. They want me to give in, but I'm not gonna do it.
And how long have you been pescatarian for?
I've been pescatarian since 2020. So my son was born in 2019.
Whoa.
So since it's gonna be 4 years. So I'm big on symbolism, bro. So I literally, me and my wifey decided to become pescatarian on 4th of July, 2020, because I want to celebrate my independence from certain meat.
Oh,
So that's a thought process behind it.
Gotcha.
So, but from there, Gil and Amber, like, I went into like a big rabbit hole to the point where, like, I don't eat. So since I don't eat pork, right? I don't eat Doritos, Cheetos, because they have pork in it. Some people might not know that. The thing I do miss was the ruelitas after church was over, the wagon wheels, you know.
Oh,
The
yeah.
viejas?
Yes, that's the one thing I do miss, bro. But like that type of stuff, man. So like, no, and then it led me to just educating myself more about what we put into our body, because the cleaner we become, bro, the more we're gonna be able to have a peak performance. We're gonna be able to like see better, think better, speak better, visualize better, right? So from there, it led to a rabbit hole of me not eating like Red 40 product. That's made out of gas, petroleum, bro. It's fucking wild, dog.
Red 40?
Red 40.
Really?
Made out of
And it's in a
petroleum.
lot of products,
It's
right?
in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Especially there's a lot of pre-workouts. A lot of young kids take it with pre-workout. Hot Cheetos has
I was
it.
gonna say hot
Yeah.
Cheetos.
That was my thing. That was everyone's thing.
It was the
in
dye,
elementary.
right?
The dye.
It's mostly in the dye for
dyes
food.
in M&Ms.
Mm.
Nothing but kid foods. Fruity Pebbles, the cereal we grew up eating, right? And then you go to school, and then the teacher trying to say you got ADD, ADHD, you can't concentrate. But the reason you
heard
can't
that.
concentrate is because of the food we're eating. So it's like just set up for failure, bro. So I just want to see.
What is this? How to identify red dye 40? Dairy products, flavored milk, yogurt, puddings, ice cream, popsicles, sweets and baked goods, cakes, pastries, candy and chewing gum, snacks and other items, breakfast cereals and bars, jello,
Everything?
fruit snacks,
Everything
chips,
the
everything
80s and 90s
underneath the
baby grew
sun.
up with.
Yeah, right? Surge. What else?
Oh,
Remember that?
Surge, the green bottle with the red. I remember Surge,
Yeah.
bro. But yeah, Fruity Pebbles was my favorite growing up, man. That's all I would eat. Yo, even
oh, yeah.
V8, bro. Yo, V8's healthy. It's got
Pepsi,
vegetables.
Yeah, I remember
True.
when VA did this whole like
Gatorade, Vicks, NyQuil. What?
Yeah,
anything
bro.
that has like a tip,
Oh, and,
right?
and the one
Like,
you posted today, dog, the fucking
That one has red 40 in it too?
yeah, the electrolyte.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
it's red.
Hey, but those things that saved my.
Those things slap, huh?
They saved me in Sinaloa. I'll tell you that one, dude.
Brought you back to like the resucitaste, huh?
It
Brought you
did,
back to
man.
life.
It
Hell
did,
yeah,
but
bro.
yeah, you don't notice. I mean, how many of us?
And think about
read-
it. There's parents that give their kids this still, knowing this information, bro.
Yeah,
So it's tough because I go to parties with my son, and they're like offering them these things, and I'm just like, fuck. I need to like find different alternatives. But luckily
And
nowadays,
how do you explain that to your son?
that's the hard part right now. I haven't had that
Yeah.
conversation with him yet. He's not there yet with
How old
his
is he?
age. He's 3.
3 years old.
He's
Okay.
3. But I remember my brother asked me once, he's like, how's your son going to feel when he's at a party and everyone's eating that candy, but he can't eat it? And I told him, I'm like, I'm already showcasing to my son those examples. I was like, I'm the only one in my family that goes to these family events that doesn't eat these certain foods. And I'm fine. So just leading by that type of example,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be that person that says, do this, do that.
And
Do you bring your? I'm sorry, Amber.
no, go ahead.
Do you bring your own like dish or plate of food to the family gatherings? Like, how do you navigate that?
That my mom hooks me up. She'll
Oh, she
make
does?
some, like the other day I was over there earlier this week. My mom makes like one of the best tamales. Like my mom's a great cook. Like we're gonna have a great relationship. So I'll probably bring you guys some tamales so y'all could
Yeah.
try. Y'all and be like, damn, that's some Jalisco tamales.
There we go.
So she's found alternatives now because of the
Mm.
change I've made. So hopefully because of the change I've made, it kind of helps her kind of turn the cheek as
Yeah.
well, bro.
Yeah.
So she made me some spinach tamales. So that's some
Ooh,
spinach
that sounds
tamales.
good.
They're pretty fire with
There
some
we
green
go.
sauce.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that like with navigating like with your son, like you were saying, like how your brother had said, like, you know, how is he gonna feel when he sees kids, you know, eating this or that? Like for me growing up, my mom, I don't want to say she monitored because that's not the word, right? But she made different choices for us. Some that she thought were good, and some that, you know, now we look back and she's like, oh, I don't know why I bought that. But like for us, we didn't drink soda.
Nice.
So
That's good.
I've even now as in my adulthood, like I don't drink soda. I may have like a Coke, like if I eat like mariscos or something, right? Because I don't know, something about the bubbliness. I don't drink alcohol anymore.
It's so
It's
good,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's like the soda ish. But I never felt left out until I was older, right? And I started like kind of conversating with Gil about like, oh, you didn't have this? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you didn't have this? And I'm like, no. He's like,
Yeah.
you never had that? And I'm like, no. But as a kid, I didn't know any better. Like I just knew that I couldn't have it. And that was okay because I didn't know what it tasted like. I didn't know what it was. And that's one of the things like my sister, my sister's kids as well, they don't drink soda. My niece didn't have candy until she was like maybe like 2 years old, so she never knew what the taste was of something sweet, you know. And I always tell the story of her being like, she was in kindergarten and she would ask my sister to pack her salads for lunch, and she would tell her, oh, the ones with feta cheese and onion. You know, she's 5 years old and she's taking like
She's
feta.
5 years old asking for this?
Yeah, the Luna.
She's all the
yeah.
red onions.
And she's like, the red
The
onions, the
golden
feta
ones.
cheese.
Yeah.
So she goes to school and, you know, the kids are all lunchtime, and she unpacks her lunch and she opens like her little like Tupperware, you know, and it, of course it stinks. Like, I don't like feta cheese, you know, and I'm an adult, and she did.
Yeah.
So all the kids were like, ew, what's that smell?
Oh no.
So she got really embarrassed, and I remember being at her house, and she came back and she was like, oh, Mom, all the kids said that my food stinks. And I remember like feeling like angry, you know, and I was like, well, you know what? Next time you tell them that you're going to live longer than they are. And my sister was like, Amber. And I'm like, you tell them, Luna. Like, you know, and it's one of these things where, yeah, they're going to feel left out if they know what that is or what they taste like or whatever, right? But if they're not going to experience that, they're going to, they don't know what they're missing out.
They don't. Exactly.
They don't.
Good point. So, yeah, if you don't, what do they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. But this is like the opposite of it. You're not really losing anything because you never used it.
Yeah. I was the poster child for all the things that...
For red dye for you.
Of what not to do?
of what not to give your kid, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, we got some Kool-Aid in the back.
I was the poster child for watching the movies that I wasn't supposed to, giving the food that I wasn't supposed to eat at a certain time. But, you know, I that's why Amber brings up the story about, you know, me showing her different they're not even, it's just junk.
Okay.
And I asked her, well, it was like I bought Hot Pockets out of nowhere, and she was like, oh, I've never had a Hot Pocket. I'm like, you're 32 years old and you've never had a Hot Pocket?
Wow. Hey, you had a great childhood. That's a good upbringing.
And let me change that.
Let me change that real quick.
Let me change that real quick.
Bro,
I've
Hot
never
Pockets
had
were
like
fire, dude.
like
I
a Big
remember
Mac. I've never
Yeah.
had like ravioli, like the Chef Boyardee, and I just didn't. My mom was the type that was like, I'm staying home for a reason. Like, I'm gonna cook dinners, and
Your
I'm
mom's legit,
very,
Amber.
I'm very, very fortunate. I am. I'm fat because I like to eat big plates of food, but not because I eat junk.
I ate healthy.
Yeah.
There we go. But I mean, I never really looked into like my diet until I think I want to say 2012, 13.
Okay.
No, like 2014, 15. In college, I took nutrition class. At that time, I was more plant-based than anything. I started living like a vegan esque lifestyle, but I just trained my mind into reading like the back of packages.
Yep.
That
That's smart.
small little change, that small little good habit into putting things into your body and reading what exactly it is, it changed my mind for a while, dude.
Good.
What do they say? If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. And what made you stop that trend?
I'm gonna be honest, dude, and I started working a very, very stressful job.
Okay.
And from there I started drinking a lot of alcohol. So it was just this stress versus the alcohol intake, the amount. And then at a certain point, I was in the event industry, right?
Okay.
And throughout these events, there's really not that many vegan spots, right? In the type of industry that I worked in.
Especially around that time.
Now there's lots of vegan spots, right?
Yeah.
I was actually part of the first team, food and beverage team, that brought like a 100% vegan only concession stand into a large fair in the Southern California.
Yo, that's innovative, brother.
Yeah.
2012 era.
That was
said?
2015.
Okay.
2015
Nice.
was the first ever 100% vegan concession stand at the fair. So I was part of that. So that went really well. There was a vegan spot. But after that, I tried to get more vegans. And this was, 7 years ago? There wasn't that many. Like, you had Donut Friend, was pretty popular back then. And that was it, right?
Yeah, vegan's tough, bro.
A lot of vegan spots, they were just in downtown. Nobody did pop-ups. This was way before the pop-up of vegan food era even existed. Everything was all downtown LA. But that's what made me stop, was because of the accessibility, the alcohol, and when I'm drunk, I was just like, I'm just gonna eat whatever. I'm gonna eat whatever.
That munchie meal slap back in the
Exactly,
day.
dude.
I love Jar.
But from then, I just didn't really care about that part of my life, right? I didn't care about being vegan anymore. I didn't care. I was a very dark period in my life.
Did you feel different when you're on that diet? Like, did you feel
I felt
more in shape?
I felt more in shape.
Enlightened?
My head clarity. I did a lot of things that I really enjoyed, as far as that fulfilled me. Not things that, like, I drank a lot, so it was just like, oh, this is filling the void. When a year before that, or 6 months even before picking up a drink, I was living a pretty happy life back then, enjoying that vegan part of my life.
Like that. Would you ever consider it again?
Oh yeah, 100%. I always tell Amber, right, Amber? Like, every week I say, like, we try, like, new diets. I mean, right now I'm looking for better alternatives, but plant-based is something that I've been thinking about. Again, because of the accessibility now,
Yes.
there's new products out there.
It's a lot easier now, like you said.
It's a lot easier. It's more accessible. It's for the most part, it's not expensive, and it's not really it's not expensive at all. As people say, oh, all the healthy things are expensive. Not really. I mean, you're paying for the
like
money.
A cheeseburger, that you grab a cheeseburger. I mean, but even now cheeseburgers are expensive, right? Like,
yeah.
The
number one combo at In-N-Out, how much is it now? I remember it used to be $6. It's like
Right.
$13 now.
Yeah.
You're paying, like, what you're not paying, like, monetary value into something. You're losing out on vitamins. You're losing out on nutritional value.
Exactly.
You pay for what you get.
You pay for what you get. Yeah, because most of these things are just filled with oils. Vegetable oil.
Yeah.
First ingredient just being sugar. Well, that's why it's $2, pops. You feel me?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all sugar.
And it's crazy because when you come from, like, a poverty family, right? You're not taught that. Like, we're not taught to read the back of the label.
Yeah.
We're just taught to look at the price tag.
You get what you get.
That's cheaper.
Yeah.
Let me get this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In
What
actuality-
can you get more for your buck?
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you get things that are gonna fill things up or fill you up, and it's at a lower price point. But all those things that fill you up are also filled with fillers.
Filled with fillers, exactly. Like, everything, like, we're over consuming, right? To the point where we buy laundry detergent, right? We use distilled vinegar to wash our clothes. Like, everything's like, it's weird, man. The way that they set the world up, having us think that this is good, this is bad, but just doing your research, man.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said like because the other day I was seeing, I didn't get to read it, but I pinned it, right? And I seen the headline. But they were talking about how like Mexicans, right? We're what they call, like, hijos del maíz, right? Or children of
Children of
the
the corn.
yeah. And they're saying, like, how our ancestors pretty much lived off of corn, right? Like this is who we are. Like, Mexicans, it's corn. Like this is the root of everything was corn, right? The Aztecs, the Olmecs, everybody, the root was corn. That's why we eat corn tortillas and pozole, menudo, all these things like that come with corn. And now they want to take corn away from
Unreal.
diet, right? So they're saying like, don't consume too much corn. You know, everything has corn, everything this and that and that and that. But what they're doing now is genetically modifying our corn. So that's like number one. And then two, they're filling items that shouldn't have an excess of corn with corn. So you're not eating a full, let's say, even like chicken, right? Like the chickens, where before, yeah, they would feed chickens here and there, you peck corn, things like that. And now it's like the corn is genetically modified. It has all these chemicals, things that, you know, are being made in a lab. They're not being grown. And then you give it to your chicken, and then they're still stuffing chicken with corn. Like it's like corn on corn on corn on corn. And it's like, of course, they're going to try to tell us not to eat it because they're oversaturating things, right? And I feel like that's what happens a lot. It's not that, I'm not saying that things don't make you sick, but it's an overconsumption of items that make us sick over time, right?
I think it's what's inside those items, because when you were saying at the beginning about the children of the corn and what hijos de maíz,
Hijos de maíz, yeah.
though, I mean, back then we overindulged, right? Like the culture and the people living back then, they indulged in maíz, but it wasn't the same type of corn.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Now we're getting fed with maybe the same amount of corn, but just different. It's modified.
Modified
and it's all
sprayed up.
Chemicals.
Yep.
Yeah, because it has to last on the shelves.
Like, tell me if you could find a watermelon with seeds on it.
You know, they're all seedless.
Are
It's
they?
hard. It's hard to find one, man.
Yeah.
The one I
They're
grew
like
in my
a
garden
unicorn.
last year.
Ooh, there you go. Now we got the plug.
See, but even then, I grew a watermelon, but the seed is a genetically modified seed. Like it's just like it all trickles into
the same thing.
It blew my mind when I found out why we can't bring fruit like across borders. That's just fucking crazy.
That's wild, right?
My aunt.
Like soursop. I heard soursop is like very powerful to the point of like cures cancer.
Soursop?
Yeah, look it up. It's SOURSOP. Soursop. Yeah.
It's a plant.
There you go.
That's a cool looking plant.
Little fruit you could eat, and you could eat. I think you could drink the leaves onto a tea.
Whoa. Dang, $127?
Yeah, bro. You got to go over there to like in the somewhere south to go get it, bro.
Yeah. It looks like a jackfruit plant. That's how the jackfruit plant
The
looks.
jackfruit.
Yeah.
You can make some food off of jackfruit, huh?
Dude, jackfruit is delicious.
Have you guys been? Oh, I'm sure you guys been. El Borreguito
Yes.
in Pomona.
Yeah.
Family, bro.
It's really good.
It's fire. It's surprisingly good, bro.
It's really good. Yeah, whoa, look at that. Look at that plant. You can drink the juice on it. 5 seeds free.
Is it guanabana? Is that what it is?
Guanabana is in Spanish. Yep.
Oh, okay.
You know what that is, Amber?
I do.
Yeah.
I didn't know it looked like this, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, man. There's a lot of natural things because my pops has diabetes and they have a guayaba tree. And I'm like, Pops, with the guayaba leaves themselves, you can make it into a tea and drink it. And supposedly it helps, make it better.
Yeah.
even like Jamaica.
Jamaica, huh?
Jamaica, drinking it, but no sugar,
Yeah.
And we go to the
That's
taco.
that purple drink.
Yeah.
The real purple drink.
We go to the taco
original
shop
purple drink.
and we
This
get
is-
a bunch of sugar and in there. But if you drink Jamaica on its own, it helps cleanse your liver. It helps with like your blood pressure. It cleans your bloodstream. Like it has so many properties. I think like food can heal you, right?
Absolutely.
If you choose
Absolutely.
the correct foods.
Like, you guys know Dr. Sebi? Dr. Sebi?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him. He was really big on CMOS. Really big on CMOS. So pretty much CMOS, man, I think in the world we have 104 minerals, right? And CMOS itself has 92 minerals. So, everything we eat might have metals. So with those minerals, it'll like remove the metal. So it's very healthy for you. So that's he's on record, and it's like there's court documents where he's actually cured people with AIDS. With like, yeah, he's a Honduran guy.
What?
Yeah, man, People Mountain is really, really great guy, man. But
You know
yeah,
what? Ramos was telling me about this, about Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I
a lot
heard
of
it.
a lot of people are into Dr. Sebi. If you're familiar with TLC, I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a man. So Lisa Left Eye Lopez was the first person to talk about Dr. Sebi. My wifey loves Lisa Left Eye Lopez, so that's how I found out about Dr. Sebi. So she literally went to like Honduras because he has like a ranch out there that like helps people become better. And the reason why he picked Honduras is because I believe they all of their water is spring water. So it's natural water opposed to like the fluoride water we have over here. But yeah, dude, this sea moss, this is one of the ingredients that me and my wifey use for my daughter's baby formula. Like we make her formula
Oh, wow.
because my first baby, man, Ezekiel Jude, he just nursed. He would breastfeed, wifey. And then once we had my daughter Sage, she didn't want to clamp on. So we had to do Infamil. So we're like, all right, fuck. And I'm big on ingredients. I'm like, why am I going to give a baby a toddler corn syrup? Like, what the fuck? This is the first ingredient in it.
And that's what's in it?
Whoa.
In Infamil. Look up the ingredients for Infamil. It's disgusting, bro. It's sad, bro.
Infamil. Is it just the type of brand, or is it just generally
Generally, all of them
Yeah.
have them, man.
water, non-fat milk, lactose, vegetable oil,
Oil.
palm,
Look at all that.
soy, coconut, and high
What is that? Galactose, like
Yeah, that's what I was
that's
saying.
like 18 syllables.
If you can't pronounce
polydextrose.
it.
I think isn't polydextrose that's a form of sugar, right?
Yeah.
Is that am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's like the corn syrup one.
Definitely has a
Yeah.
lot of bioengineered ingredients in there. So having a baby consume that, so my daughter would get an allergic reaction to it. She would rash up immediately, and every time she would digest her food, my poor baby would fucking cry, bro,
Wow.
for hours, dude. And me and my wife are like, fuck, what the fuck we're gonna do? And like my wifey would like try to pump, but she was like really stressed out at the time, having babies, so she wasn't able to pump milk for her. So we literally did so much research, man, and we were able to find a formula that worked for her. Yeah, man. So I'm willing to share it with you guys, man. So pretty much what we do, man, is you get hemp seeds. So we buy hemp seeds, organic hemp seeds, and we blend it, and that makes it into a liquid. And pretty much you add 2 dates, literally just 2 dates, and literally like a little bit of sea moss, just with those 3 ingredients, and I make my daughter's formula.
Wow.
Ever since she was 6 months old, and she's 1 year old. She's 1.5, gonna be 2 in December. Every day, my wifey, since she's been 6 months old, we've made her baby formula organic like that, dude.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Yeah, man. So that type of stuff is what I'm talking about. Just breaking those curses, breaking the information that we thought was real when in actuality it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with something like a diet, right?
Yeah.
Because it's something we eat, we have to do as humans.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do that. Like we have to breathe, we have to blink, we have to unfortunately go to a 9-to-5 type of, job to
Absolutely.
get, currency. But we also have to eat, and what we eat really changes our thought process.
Absolutely. You are what you eat, right?
And it's true. Like it's 100% true. Like now that I'm getting older, dude, I can't touch those sugary drinks. I mean, I'm drinking one right
The
now.
taste is good though.
But honestly, like I'm more in tune with how I feel now versus 10 years ago. I feel every single thing that I eat, and I feel every single thing that I drink.
Yeah.
And it messes with my mood of the day, like, in the moment type of things. It just, maybe my body is changing as I get older, but I feel different now. I can feel everything that I ingest.
Don't you hate that? Like you wake up that one day and you just feel that knee pain.
Yeah.
Like, where does knee pain? Why my elbow hurting?
What's going on with the shoulder? The other day, was it like last week, Amber? oh man, I had this weird pain in my wrist
Okay.
and my thumb. And I was like, you know what it is? It's from doing this and this
Yeah, there we go.
all day
Yeah.
long and being like this and just standing up straight. And I need to reintroduce yoga back into my life.
I agree.
Especially, yeah, we do, man, because we're always sitting down, slouching. That's the one thing I always forget. Like,
Oh yeah,
stretch,
look
stretch
at
your
I gotta
back. Like that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta move.
I look taller now. There, we look
Yeah,
good.
you guys look
we're more presentable now.
There we go. But yeah, just dudes, stuff like that we have to reconnect with. Like we have to reconnect with our diet, which is you're pretty big on that. Reconnecting with your mental state and meditation and being in the moment. You don't really get into the moment when you're doing yoga. I mean, there's one thing about yoga and that pulls you in to the moment.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it does. It drags your ass in there.
It drags your ass into the moment because there's nothing like, holy fuck, my knee's about to pop.
Yeah.
That pulls you into the moment. Yeah.
I would do because I grew up like on the Long Beach side.
Okay.
So
Ooh, you grew up with Snoop?
yeah, I did.
Snoop and
right
Vince
there.
Staples?
Yeah.
I was right next to Compton. So I go to or I haven't gone recently, but when I was going, I would go to yoga on the bluff, right? They call it.
Yoga on the bluff?
Yeah, so
That's
it's
legit.
yoga outside and it's right on the beach. So it's a little park above from where the beach is, but you're still overlooking the ocean. You can hear the ocean. I mean, people are riding around on their bikes. They have speakers. The streets there, like there's so many distractions, right? And the first time that I went, I was like, how the fuck am I gonna do this? Like, I gotta. I have to concentrate on not falling, not ripping my pants or, whatever, doing the poses. And then how am I not going to be distracted from people skating, people with their radios, the ocean, the this, the that. Like, but once you're there and you kind of zone in, it's like there's nobody there but yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're hearing you're conscious of breathing. You're conscious of, let me not do this wrong because I might hurt myself. Or how does this feel? Or how does, let me honor my body today. Or let me, and I think it's like one of the best things, especially for me, like mobility wise, that helped me so much.
Good.
And it's crazy. It's crazy how it just like, you don't hear anything but yourself.
Right?
In that moment.
You're
It's
connecting
it's
with
crazy.
your soul, and that's beautiful. And you're right, Gil, like where you're talking about also, great point, Amber, like with mental, physical, right? Because I would always hear the quote, only the strong survive. And I would always tie with like, okay, you got to be a strong person. But now when you're older, you realize, okay, it's not just strength. It's strong mentally. Am I strong physically? Am I strong emotionally? And am I strong spiritually? So these are like 4 very important pillars. If I'm not feeding my spiritual side, maybe my emotional side's going to suffer from it because I'm not feeding that part. Yeah. So it's like a whole square that we need to definitely fix and work on, right?
Yeah, it's a balance for sure.
Balance,
you got to
right?
balance between all those great pillars that we call our human existence.
Our human existence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gil, do you have siblings?
I do. Well, I had a sister. She was older than me. She was about 27 years older than me. She passed away early 2017.
My condolences.
Yeah, at
brother.
the ripe old age of, I think she was going to be 39 or 40. It's been a very long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
My condolences, brother. So it's just you, man.
Just me.
That's
now.
what's up. Holding the fort down.
Trying to. Jeez.
Trying to.
Doing my best.
Doing your best. That's good.
Trying to navigate myself on this, depending on if you think it's flat or not. Or
bro, I'm actually kind of leaning on the flat side now, bro, because I question everything now, Gil.
Dude,
I be questioning everything.
We have to.
Right. Like the sky, I'm like, is it real? Like what?
Yeah.
What is it? You know?
It's hard. That's the thing about this, the era we are in an era of ultimate information coming
Yes.
every way which at us.
So,
Right.
and I think, you know why?
Why?
So, or actually, it's going to lead me to the next point. So, you know, the kids born in this era, or the era that my kids are born, because we're millennials, right?
Right.
Us three. It's Generation Alpha. And the reason why I believe it's Generation Alpha is because they know all the information. They're not going to be fed any type of lies. So that's why I
Okay.
kind of feel it's that. So I think it's pretty tough. Like the era where the kids are being born now, they're gonna be very beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to have this information at the fingertips, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we were barely becoming of age and into adulthood when the internet came out.
I remember that. I remember the AOL. Hang up the phone,
Yeah,
son.
if somebody
hang
picked
the internet.
picked up the phone, they disconnected you, and you're like, ah.
I would love when those CDs came in 30 hours. Like, yes, internet, let's go, baby. Let me
Right.
install
That's
this.
right, huh?
Yeah.
It was CDs, the AOL.
Amber and I were just talking about different music, especially like over the weekend when we seen that Y2K vintage clothing pop up,
Okay.
which was very appalling to me. We were just talking about that. Just remember what the kid said? The kid was, we overheard a kid talk to the guy at the pop-up that was his pop-up selling these old, t-shirts. He had CDs. And this kid there was all excited because the
like,
man
"Ooh."
had CDs.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, he has CDs.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's interesting.
that's like the equivalent of us being like, oh, they have records.
With vinyls, yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
vinyl.
or they have tapes.
Yeah.
Remember?
well,
Well, or are you
I
more
still
excited
had
about
tapes.
vinyl?
I was more excited about vinyl because we still had CDs and tapes at the house.
Okay. Nice.
I think now that we're in this weird age because we're adults, but we're still trying to have a good time, right?
Absolutely.
We're always trying to have a good time here on Earth, but it's just crazy to see the world evolve in the lens that at the age that we are at now. Like just a couple of weeks ago, the dude from Smash Mouth died.
Dude,
And
that was
I
wild.
had no idea how much that band played an influential part in my taste in music at that time. Like what's that song?
Hey now. You're
Yes,
Nas-
All Star.
Shrek.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I say I'm a big fan and I don't know their most favorite
I was waiting
song.
for you to say it.
Yeah, sorry. I was walking on the side of the moon or whatever. I'm fucking it up. But anyways, dude, that it played just a huge influential in influence on my taste of music at the time. I looked at their older stuff, the stuff that they came out with in 1997. I remember listening to that, I think around like 8 years old, like in 2000, maybe in 2002,
Yeah.
just a couple of years after it came out. And I totally forgot that they had a huge ska influence. And if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, go to their 1997 album. I forgot what it's called. Can you pull it up, Amber?
Yeah.
It had a huge influence from like ska music.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even by the look of the album, it was crazy. And you would have never thought we just have to look at the cover.
Astro Lounge.
No, Astro Lounge is that's with it's not that one. It's the one that's their most famous one. I think the 1997 album that I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you said 1999.
No, there we go. What is it called? Smash Mouth, Foosh You Mang.
Fuck you, man.
But they had just they had a heavy influence when it came with and you can see the checkers around
That's
the
dope,
album. Just the astro type of vibe, the cosmic vibe they were going with. But yeah, just overall style and music and
Just different.
had a huge influence on pop culture in the 1990s, especially when that pop of ska music was coming out in the early times. But yeah, my point is that now that this is vintage. It just blows my mind. CDs are just people that are looking for CDs or just blows my mind, dude. I have tons of CDs that my dad left
Case
me.
Logic with like 300 CDs, bro, in my parents' garage. Right
Yeah?
now, so
That's what it's all about. That was our shuffle. That was our shuffle.
You, if you want a CD, I'm gonna gift you my Crazy Town CD.
I don't even have a CD player.
Crazy Town?
I have to come, my lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Dang.
I'll take
I
it.
remember that growing up. Yeah.
There we go.
You don't want it? I'll take it off your hands.
We got a new segment on the Mind Buzz. People bring me your old
There
CDs.
you go. Bring Gil a CD, bro.
No,
For
actually,
sure.
I do want to shout out Leo from Movies on Weed podcast for gifting me Wrong Turn DVD. So if anybody has a DVD player that I can borrow,
I got a Blu-ray. Does it play Blu-rays?
That's right, huh? There was a difference between the
Yeah.
DVD and then the Blu-ray.
no, this is a regular one. But shout out to Leo
cool.
from Movies on Weed for sending this to me. Appreciate it, buddy.
That's badass, man.
Yeah, because I told him that I was on this weird horror movie binge
Okay.
lately, and Wrong Turn was the original. Wrong Turn wasn't on any of the streaming platforms.
Really?
Just
Okay.
2 through like
They made more of
1,270.
them? I
Yeah,
didn't know that one. I remember that cover. She was really famous at that time.
yeah. Who isn't?
Dushki was her last name. I don't know. I don't remember her last name.
She was in all the movies, dude.
Yeah, I think she dated Derek Jeter or something.
Did she? What's her name?
Oh.
Elisha Dushki? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Elijah Dushku.
Okay, I fucking
See,
knew it.
You were right.
I had a feeling. See, I'm a movie guy, bro. So I remember
Yeah.
this type of shit. Like I saw Pulp Fiction when I was 6 years old, bro. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're in
That's my movie right there.
You're in the group of we watched movies that we weren't supposed to at a
Yeah, add me to
not
that
so
list,
good
bro.
age.
I named my son after my favorite Bible verse, Ezekiel 25:17. So
which is what? What is that?
no, that's from Pulp Fiction. That's what Jules Winfield says to people before he
Oh,
kills
does he
them.
really?
The path of the righteous man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I named my son Ezekiel because of that, because that's my all-time movie. That's a gem right there for y'all.
Yeah, dude. Quentin Tarantino, did you know that he's only coming out with one more movie and that's it? What do you think about that?
The 10th one. It's gonna be sad, but you know what? It has to happen. All good things come to an end, and it's gonna be Kill Bill 3. You think?
You think so?
That's what
I
he's
hope
saying.
so.
That's what he's saying?
That's what the idea was. Vivica A. Fox's daughter comes back for revenge. Uma?
Oh, that's right, because she
Have
sees,
Uma,
right?
have Uma go out at the end with having her foot blown off or something, because you know, homie has a foot fetish.
Yeah.
That's right.
Something.
Every
like that.
every movie, this guy is infatuated with feet, and I didn't really notice it until, what was that one with
From Dusk Till
Kurt?
Dawn.
Was it Kurt Russell?
Oh yeah. The one with the car.
Yeah, there's just like
Death
feet.
Proof.
There's like feet in every
Yes.
every scene. It's like
Have you
every scene.
Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
The
Oh
Salma
yeah,
Hayek
when
scene?
Salma Hayek.
Quentin Tarantino loved that.
Yeah, he
Yo, pull that up. No, I'm playing.
he specifically wrote that part for himself to insert himself into that feet
So
fetish.
you're gonna put your foot in my mouth and you're gonna pour beer down your leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's funny.
But I mean, with the diet thing, and how much of that changed for you during the pandemic? Because we all had some time, right? We all had some time to reflect on ourselves, and if you didn't have the ability to reflect on yourself because you were a essential worker, like how did that change for you?
Yeah, it changed everything, man. So when COVID happened, it made me start to question things, because it was like, we're closing all the gyms down. You got to be safe. You got to be healthy. And in my head, I'm like, why are you guys taking away the gym from me? This is what I need, right? So that moment made me take it upon myself to, you know what? I need to be my own boss, right? So that's when I just started going to the park and working out. Be like, you know what? I'm going to find a different thing. And I would just find a random tree and I would record myself and I would do pull-ups. And then from there, that started like this undeniable thing where I just want to share people my vision, share people my philosophy. And from there, I just started building from there, man. I removed meat. I removed certain food dyes. I don't eat any food that has bioengineered ingredients that I'm aware of, right? From there, I just thought to myself, you know what? I just got to continuously, you know, build for my family. But that's pretty much what ultimately happened, man.
Yeah.
And then and also it made me start a podcast with my brother because he's older than me. He's 44 years old. I'm 34 years old. And I knew how much trauma I had from my childhood or anxiety that I had from my childhood. And I would see it from my sibling. I would see it from family members. So I just told him one time, I was like, you know what? Let's start a podcast. And it happened during the pandemic in 2019 as well. Like around the same time you started your podcast, right? And yeah, man. And then I got to know my brother more and it helped me decompress. You know, it helped me remove all that stress. So yeah, man, podcasts are fucking legit with that.
How does your conversation go with your brother about looking at? I wouldn't know, and Amber tells me this about her. She experienced a different childhood than her sister may have. Does that happen with you guys?
Absolutely, huge difference, man. Because if we think about it, my parents were probably way more broke back then. Like they grew up. My two brothers and my parents were in a studio apartment, all of them, all four of them together. And then I was able to actually have a house. You know, I shared a room with my parents, but that, you know, my dad having a worse job, so their patience is more thin. I don't know if I'm going to cover the rent, so I'm going to be a little more stressed. So I feel like my brothers probably had it a little worse. So I would say that. It depends where you're at financially or mentally. You know, coming from Mexico, you know, you're not that prepared. So that type of shit, man, that's what I feel, man.
Because he was older, he was able to harness that a little bit more, being conscious of your family's, you know, state of well-being throughout that time.
Exactly, man. And like people process things differently, right? Some they might feel more guilty. They might not feel like as confident as they should be because of the upbringing they had, right? So that's why him and I work really well because we see everything different.
Yeah.
Like if I tell him the world's flat, he's gonna be like, "You're fucking crazy, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? Like he's that guy. Like we're completely polar opposites, bro.
No, but that's good. That's good to have Yeah, exactly. You have to have conversations like that because if you're surrounded, and I talk about this all the time too, if you're surrounded by just the same type of like-minded people, like you got to change it up a bit because they might give you a different perspective that you don't think about. That's why I like having this podcast, dude, because we talk to multiple artists within a certain week that have way different viewpoints than the next guest, and it's good to sharpen that, you know, mental tool that I like to say.
I like that.
You know what I mean? But yeah, with that, how do you navigate that? Like knowing and living with that type of, I guess would you call it trauma? Like being a first generation, seeing how hard your parents work to be in this country, right? Would you call that trauma? And how do you navigate it?
That's a good question, man.
Like now, being an adult, being a father of your own children.
Yeah. In the whole subject of it, I wouldn't call it trauma. I would say probably like the little experiences that I had that I remember from my childhood were some traumatic moments.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I would say it's just a tribute to what my dad built, I would say. And that's the best way to look at it because it always comes down to our perspective, right? Back to like what Amber was saying, you know, I could easily like blame people and people could easily be like, oh, empathetic, right? But that's not going to help us grow.
Right.
So always having that type of perspective, because if you see a roadblock, having the perspective of like, it's not a roadblock, it's a fucking stepping stone. So just being that constant reminder to yourself, like, hey, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. What does Friedrich Nietzsche say? Any how or any why can bear almost any how, right? So pretty much having that mindset, man, that helps me navigate through it. The sacrifices that my parents went through and having children of my own is pretty much ultimately why I want to do this, why I want to be successful, prove to them, like it's possible. We could become the next Nike. Our brand could, like, UndenEYEable could be like Nike, so that's what I'm trying to prove, man. And what helps me, bro, navigate through that is just staying consistent, bro. I'm a very consistent person. Even though I'm having a long day, long hours, I'll still make time for the gym. And I'll still make time to, like, try to eat healthy. And ultimately as well, what helps, bro, another pillar is having a partner that understands, dude. I have a really great woman at home that really supports my dreams, really supports my vision, and is with the kids whenever I'm doing things like this, the podcast, or trying to promote UndenEYEable, man. So finding a perfect person as well, man, helps.
Yeah, especially when you surround yourself with supportive people, right? It makes it a lot easier.
Very easier.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Amber, she supports me in every crazy little thing that I do.
I see that. She's good on the keyboard, doing the directing, cutting the camera.
She's half of this podcast, dude, and people don't understand that. And you can come meet her.
She's the mind, and you're the buzz, right?
There we
Yeah.
go. Oh, I like that.
You see that? You see that wordplay?
There you go. There you go.
There you go. But yeah, dude, this whole staying positive thing, like in a world of negative stuff and people just getting information getting thrown at you, it's hard to keep that goal. And I believe that you're doing a good job and staying consistent at that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So
it's very, honestly, it's very honorable. I was just thinking about it right now when you said, like, I feel like in the society that we live in now, or even like social media and everything, like, it's easier to be sad and angry than it is to be happy, honestly, because being happy is being vulnerable, right? It's staying true to the things that make you happy, whether they're silly or not, or, getting back to kind of like healing your inner child and things like that. And a lot of times we don't want to do that because we feel like it's silly. Or we feel like it's silly to love someone, or we feel like it's silly to tell someone we care about them, or to go and do things. Like, it's easier to be sad than it is to be happy, and that's one of the things that I'm learning now and navigating with that. And
That's a good point.
I commend you for keeping consistent and trying to do this for yourself and especially for your family.
That's
Great.
beautiful, Amber. You worded that perfect example, and thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And it's crazy because we do come from the machismo, right? You think like you can't be vulnerable, but in actuality, I would always hear this: the best ability is availability, but to me, the best ability is vulnerability.
Yeah.
ooh, I like that.
Right? Because
It's a
you're
sticker,
gonna be
dude.
It's a sticker. Right? That's a bumper sticker right there.
I like that.
But it's true. It's very true.
Absolutely, because you open up, and then you're gonna have other people opening up.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going through shit, and we all think it's just us going through things, when in actuality, the person next to you might be going through something way worse.
Yeah. It's hard. It's definitely hard as a human being. Because we're always thinking about like me.
Yes.
But we need to change that me to us, right?
Yes.
At least I think.
Have that
It's-
why, something bigger than us.
Yeah.
Or bigger than I as a person, right?
Right.
Bigger goal.
Yeah. Because essentially we all want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We all want health. We all want wealth. We all want...
Security, health, and wealth.
Exactly. We all want the essential things in life. We want our family to be healthy. We want our community to be healthy, right? We are one cell in this organism, right? And just to keep consistency in that, it's hard.
It's hard to do.
But I think with the steps that you're taking with your diet and what you're doing with Undeniable it's awesome, man. And if there's anything that the Mind Buzz or Mind Buzz Media can help out with that, then I'm always here, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Gil.
Renato, thanks for coming out on the podcast, brother. This was awesome. There's that music playing. So
the music is playing.
Go ahead and share where we can find you.
Yo, find me on Instagram, UndenEYEable, UndenEYEable. In addition to that, you'll be able to find my Linktree page where you'll be able to find my podcast that I drop weekly with my older brother. He's a Generation X. I'm a millennial, and we talk about generational differences being raised by baby boomers. So catch me on that. Catch me on IG, and look for my clothing to drop sometime later this year. I'm really excited to bring some fire to you guys.
Go check him out. So all the links to UndenEYEable Perception will be down at the show description and the show notes. It's all clickable, very easy. Just click it and you'll be... How many episodes? Whoa, you have a lot,
141,
dude.
brother.
Wow. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, weekly, man. So every week since 2019 when we started it, 2020.
That's just an accomplishment in itself, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I try to stay consistent all weeks of life. I tried it. And
awesome.
I'm happy to partner up with you with this, man. And I want to return the favor and ask you to come onto my podcast with my brother.
Let's do it, dude. I'm down. I'm always down.
Let's go. Gilly the Kid? No, not
There
Gilly
we go.
the Kid. Gilly the Hillbilly?
Gilbilly the Kid. That's a new one.
Gilbilly the Kid.
I need some guns now. And a Tejana.
Undeniable Mambas, baby.
There we go. But go down to the show description. Check out all the links, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. We have the giveaway going on this week to meet and greet Amber, because she is the #1 host of the Southern California podcast, The Mind Buzz.
Don't.
Hey, Jamie ain't got shit on Amber.
Yeah, there we go.
No pun on Joe Rogan.
There you go.
We're just gonna say hi.
The Mind Buzz.
How'd I do every day? Was I nervous?
Peace.
Peace.